Hi guys. I always feel like I don't have enough time. I've been going to bed with this thought in my mind for the past year. I don't have time to do everything I plan. Because of that, I feel a constant sense of anxiety. My list of tasks for the week consists of various things: work, my mobile app, music, learning new skills in my profession, sports, developing this YouTube channel, and others. I always thought that a well planned week would solve the problem of unfinished tasks, but that's not quite the case. Even if my day is perfectly scheduled and I have one or two tasks left to do in the evening, I often don't do them because I just don't want to. The thing is, I feel exhausted and literally want to do nothing. So I decided to change this aspect of my life. First, I reviewed all my tasks and I had to let go of the things that are not my priority right now. Second, I reduced the number of tasks for the week so that I could take a break and rest. So, I will do most of my non-work tasks in the morning, and I will rest more in the evening and on weekends. I would be very happy if you shared your tips on how to plan your week so that you can get everything done without feeling exhausted. It's time to get to work. But first, a few words about today's episode sponsor. Equals is a replacement for Excel that automatically syncs your spreadsheets with your databases. Equals allows you to work with a large number of data sources: Postgres, MySQL, Google Ads, Stripe, Google Analytics, and many others. But the most convenient thing is that you can work with multiple data sources simultaneously. For instance, I can easily connect a product table from my Postgres database as well as a Google Sheet with sales information. I simply enter the credentials for the respective data sources, created a query, and all the information appeared in my project. By the way, you don't need to know SQL to create queries. Equals has its own user-friendly query builder where you can create an exact SQL query equivalent. For example, if I don't want to display all records from the table and I only need a specific product category, I can easily configure the query builder to get only what I need. A distinct feature that I like is the very convenient ordering of table columns directly in the query builder. So, all settings are made, I click Run Query, and boom, all the necessary information is here in just a second. Equals is truly a convenient tool for working with data. Try out Equals for free at the link in the description below. Well, I'm starting to work. First of all, I check my messages in Slack, respond to them, and also make sure to check my email, as I often get notifications about Jira tasks there, which I always ignore in Jira itself. My colleague had a few questions about a task we were working on together. It turned out that our backend was showing an error on all POST requests, but GET requests were going through without any problems. We quickly realized that the problem was related to the CSRF verification functionality, which I reconfigured and POST requests started working again. But let's talk about the main task that I'll be working on today. On my project, all users can see and use all the created content that is in the database. But the product owner wanted to divide the content into exclusive and available to all. This exclusivity will be determined by the user's subscription terms. The first part of the solution to this problem is to add a new field to the main table, which is associated with all other content tables. I am adding a new database migration with the new field. To this migration, I also add in a special function that is supposed to update some of the data in all the related tables, so that further development of this functionality doesn't cause any problems. In addition to that, a new feature on our project is that we have to create a separate filter table for content of different types. I also described the model of this table, created migrations, ran it, and the database was updated. There is a model on the project that is responsible for importing content from another microservice. In order for our system to understand which content is exclusive and which is available to all, I also have to change the code of this model. The data on the filters to the new table also comes through the content import model. So I'm modifying this functionality so that it can accept new data and also process it in such a way that records in the content and filter tables are created or updated automatically. Eventually, I felt hungry, so I moved to my kitchen. Recently, I've been eating lighter meals for lunch, and today I'm making myself a Greek salad. I used to often have rice with tuna for lunch, but to be honest, I decided to take a break because I'm a little sick of this dish. This salad has a lot of cheese, olives, vegetables, and olive oil, so it's very nutritious for me. To distract myself from work, I made it a rule to not watch anything related to programming at lunch. Today I am watching a pretty interesting video about special seats that are in Japanese buses. These private cabins have one seat and the entire space is closed off by lockable doors. I think this is a pretty good option for people who want to be alone for a while. Personally, I don't mind sitting next to someone, especially considering that I usually travel with headphones and almost constantly look out the window. According to YouTube Analytics, more than 90% of my viewers are not subscribers of my channel, and this saddens me a lot. So don't hesitate, subscribe to my channel to be the first to receive notifications about new content. Well, I've finished my break and it's time to get back to work. Sometimes, when working on some tasks, we come across some blockers that prevent us from completing the work on the functionality. For example, existing business logic may intersect with new logic. Of course, this should be foreseen during the task analysis, but to be honest, business analysis doesn't often cover 100% of potential problems. Therefore, in such cases, we have to hold a series of calls between the team and communicate with the product owner about how to solve the problem. All correspondence within our project is conducted exclusively in Slack, and as for calls, we use Zoom for long conversations and Slack Huddle for shorter ones. Today, it happened that the specific part of new functionality interfered with the existing one, and a large amount of time had to be spent on communication with other members of the project. In the end, the blocker was resolved and my last task for this evening was to modify the old functionality. Previously, we had logic that was directly related to retrieving files from S3 buckets. Now it needs to be changed in such a way that the administrator has access to file management through the admin panel. I'm expanding one of the existing tables so that it can store information about files attached to a record. I'm also modifying all service functions in this model so that changes in the table occur automatically. I'm making a commit, then pushing my code and finishing my work for today. To get rid of burnout, I also started meditating periodically. My thoughts are very active, even too active, so meditation is not easy for me. The first few times I even interrupted the sessions because I couldn't focus on one thing for even 5 seconds. but after some time I started making some progress. Although it's very difficult, now I can focus on one thing for 10 to 12 seconds. I can say that this practice helps me to distract myself from constantly thinking about problems, and I feel much lighter after it. Today I decided not to feel any obligations, so after a shower and dinner I took out my computer, which I hadn't used in a very long time, and launched one of my favorite games, Cities Skylines. I really love this game. I can play it literally all day. I chose some random map because it doesn't matter where exactly I would build my undoubtedly beautiful city. So, the game loaded and I'm making the first residential areas, putting up windmills and creating power lines. Thank you friends for watching this video, I really appreciate it. See you next time.